What's up, everyone? This is David Greenspan, and you are listening to Season 2 of the MindShare Podcast, a proud member of the Industry Syndicate Media Network. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems. This is episode 87. Now, by now, for all of you loyal followers and listeners, I'm grateful for you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you tune into the MindShare podcast every week. And I want to encourage you that if you haven't yet, I'd love for you to go into your favorite platform, leave a rating, leave a review, let people know how much you love the show and, well, why it's such a value add to you and how it will be to them. At the same time, if we're not connected on Facebook just yet, you can find me on Facebook at MindShare 101, and you can find me on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. There's also a YouTube channel called MindShare 101, and of course the website is mindshare101.com. Now I bring that up because, well, I want you to tune into the videos as well. These podcasts are awesome, and they are definitely do not stop listening. The videos themselves are short bursts, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minute little bursts of energy, little nuggets. And again, if you're enjoying these hour-long podcasts, continue to tune in. At the same time, take advantage of these videos. Use them as fuel for you. Use them to spark a thought or maybe solve something. But again, a little jolt of energy. Once a week, every Monday morning. And in fact, this, where are we at now? I think we're at video number 217 or 218 that has just been released. Now, what does that mean? That means for 217 or 218, whatever, that many weeks in a row, I've been releasing a MindShare 101 video. Now, really what I'm saying to that is, it's consistency. So many people want to use video all the time, but many people really just don't actually do it because they don't like the way they sound, they don't like the way they look, and I want to talk to that a little bit more later on. But again, I wanted to encourage you, check out those MindShare 101 videos. Much the same, if you haven't yet, we've got a Industry Syndicate podcast app. So if you haven't downloaded that yet, it is free. You can find it in your iTunes store, you can find it in your Google store. Download the app. It's not only got the MindShare podcast on it, but we've got an awesome crew across all of North America, actually spanning other parts of the world now, that are all focused on delivering content for real estate, mortgages, loan officers, small businesses, entrepreneurs. You can all listen to this stuff. So again, it's the Industry Syndicate podcast app. We are Real Estate's media network. Now, as you know, my goal for you on a regular basis, every single day, what I get up and I try to work to do is help you understand what MindShare is, why you need to build it, and why it's going to be so effective for you. So again, because I haven't stated this in a little while, MindShare is a top-of-mind, intuitive, instinctive reaction to a product or service. Again, a intuitive, instinctive reaction to a product or service. Now, the more mindshare you build, the more market share you get. And so, question for you, not that I can hear your response, but I want you to say this out loud when I do this, okay? Can you do that for me? When I say running shoes, what is the first company you think of? You just say Nike? Of course you did. Now, if you said Reebok or Adidas, there's always one in the room. But Nike. What if I said to you, soda pop? What's the first company you think of? Now you're just trying to throw it off. If you said Pepsi, you're like Crush or something, right? But you're thinking Coca-Cola. And what if I said fast food? Oh, sure, A&W or whatever. No, it's McDonald's, and you know it's McDonald's. You see, Nike, Coke, and McDonald's, they are the biggest of the big. They have continued to be consistent. They have continued to be persistent. They continue to market to us and message us and build mindshare with us. And now when we think of the product or the service they offer, we think of them first. That's why they get the market share. That's why they are the biggest of the big. You see, mindshare equals market share. Now, coming off of the time where we just came off of, in terms of this whole, global pandemic and all the isolation and the distancing and all the stuff we've been talking about over these past number of weeks, right? One message that I really want to ring true to you, okay, or ring through to you, and I want you to internalize this one. You can't control the market. You can't control other people. But you can control your own success. You see, it's up to you. We can sit back and again, lament and sit around and go, I don't know what to do. And oh my God, there's all these restrictions. And I'm really, it's just everything threw me for a whirlwind and my routine is off and my habits are off. And again, we've talked about that a lot in our recent episodes, right? The routines and the habits and what's ahead and what just happened. But one thing's for sure is that if this is what you do for a living, then where are you going? What are you complaining about? We got to get this stuff done. And don't worry about the market, and don't worry about the other people, and Judy or Michael down the hall. Who cares what they're doing? All you can control is you. So we've got to take control of you. We've got to get out there, and we've got to dominate. So I want to go over that with you right now. I want to go through a whole bunch of steps of how to build MindShare and dominate your market. And there's a few steps we're going to go through. Because, again, what's going on right now, sort of, step one over here in the psyche, the mentality of everybody, we went from a complete, stop, a complete halt, nothing going on, more or less, to like full speed ahead. The market is popping. There are multiple offers. Houses are going for over asking. People are writing all sorts of deals. People are not getting those deals because, again, there's not a lot out there. It is a seller's market. But the pace has really changed. And the fact that, again, we are off our routines and we have changed habits, it now comes back and says, well, what do I do? What do I do at this exact moment? How do I get myself back to where I was? And there are many of you who are pumping along right now. You might even be busier than you were months before this started. And that's amazing. I'm pumped for you. That said, at some point, when things slow down, or when we're completely overwhelmed, there comes a time where we've got to look and say, well, what am I getting done? Am I getting enough done? Have I been efficient with everything I want to get done? I mean, when we come back to those lifetime goals, and we've, gone through the process here of explaining before, how do we break those lifetime goals down to day-to-day actions, right? Our daily actions. How do we do that? Well, we've got to set those goals. We've got to know what we're doing. But then now it's like, okay, well, I've set my goals. I've broken them down from lifetime to annual, from annual to monthly, from monthly to weekly, and from weekly to daily. So I do know what I'm supposed to be doing on a day, but oh my God, I can't keep up. There's so much going on out there. What do I do now? So the first step here is around how you manage your time. You see, if you want to get things done in a day, you need to manage time. If you want to make more money, you need to manage time. If you want to live easier, be more relaxed, not have anxiety, or not stress out about what you didn't get done, you need to manage time. So one of my first questions becomes now to you, where do you track your time? Like literally, what do you do to track your time on a regular basis? Do you use a CRM? Do you use your smartphone? Are you old school with a pen and paper and a day timer? Or are you that person who's like, I just kind of do what comes at me in a day? You see, and if you're that person, you're what I call the chaotic person, right? You probably make some money. Things are okay. You're doing well. But I guarantee if we started to really dig into your habits and what you do and how you do it, you're probably working really, really hard. You're probably spending more money than you need to, and the ROI probably isn't as high as it possibly could be. And all this just comes back to, again, our habits and our processes and our systems and what our plan is. So as you analyze and think about, where do I track my time? And again, if you're not one of those people tracking your time, you better figure out which platform is going to be better for you. And again, what's good for me may not be good for you. What's good for, your colleague down the hall may not be good for you. So again, as I started this whole thing, you can't control what they're doing. And you shouldn't just imitate them because, it seems to be working for them. Not everything works for everybody. So determine where you're tracking your schedule, right? Have a map, like a guide to life. I mean, this is just like your, Google Maps or Waze or whatever, mapping app you might use on your phone or GPS or in your car. Well, you don't know where to go, but you got an address, you punch it in, and it tells you how to get there. Well, it's much the same. By having a calendar, by tracking what we do every single day, we can accomplish a lot more. So again, first part is just where are you tracking it? Once you know and you've determined, okay, this is the spot that I do it, and you might have like right off the top of this tangent, you might have been like, yeah, man, I use a CRM. Cool. Or my phone or whatever. And I'll give you arguments of like why the phone, it's smart, but it's not smart enough. It's not really connected to the contact list. And even though you can say, yeah, well, the phone calendar and the contact list are connected to one another. Sure, but where do you store the birthdays? Where do you store the notes and the history? And where does all the marketing come in, right? That stuff that helps you build MindShare when you're out there dealing with other clients. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm going to advocate. You should always have a CRM. And just real quick on that, I always start this podcast off and I always tell you how Kits is the sponsor. I want to share just a few more points about that in a few minutes. But again, Kits offers a wicked CRM called Loop CRM. So I want to encourage you, check that out. So now that we've determined again where we store everything, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to start plugging in all of your what I call realistic time. Okay? This is the extracurricular stuff. This is the fun stuff. This is the personal stuff. This is the family stuff. Cutting the grass, playing games, taking your kids to sports, going shopping, whatever. Maybe you got your own stuff you do. I mean, I know I do. I play hockey on Thursday nights. And the reality is on Thursday nights, it's not realistic that I am going to be doing anything but playing hockey. So I block that time off in my schedule, and that's for me. I'm not answering emails. I'm not doing social media. I'm not making phone calls. There's no admin. There's no work going on. I'm just there to play hockey. So again, that's what you call realistic time. So for me, I will go ahead and plug in my schedule, and I'll plug in my wife's schedule, and I'll plug in my kids' schedule, and I'll plug in my Toronto Maple Leafs schedule when they're playing, because I want to know that I can sit down and watch that game because I love watching the game. Doesn't mean I may not have my laptop on my lap for that moment. But typically speaking, if I'm out with, Joshua at the hockey rink or the baseball diamond, I'm not working. Or if I'm with Leah at her dance, I'm watching her. Or if Jen's out at yoga, naturally I got to be with the kids. So again, all these little things in life, especially when you've got an ecosystem around you, and it's not just you, and maybe it is just you, and that's okay too. But we've got to plug in that realistic time. All of those things that need to get done no matter what. Once I've plugged in my realistic time, I can now look at my schedule and I can say to myself, okay, now that I've got my realistic time plugged in, I know what I need to get done in a day. I know what's going on in my personal life because that's why we get up. Now I'm going to plug in the business stuff. So you might be thinking, but hold on a second. If you fill up everything with personal stuff, when are you going to have time for business? Well, I'd like to believe you haven't got that much personal stuff going on. You know what I mean? Everybody's got a lot of stuff going on, but there's still going to be holes in the schedule, and that comes back to having the guide. Because now you can actually see visually in front of you where those opportunities are for you to be able to work. And look, as an entrepreneur, small business owner, if you're a realtor, loan officer, mortgage broker, we don't have set schedules. This ain't no 9 to 5, 40-hour, a week work week. It's not like that. Again, you want to make above average money, you need to put in above average effort and above average time. Which now means that really what you're doing is you're looking at the holes in your schedule and you're figuring out when it's convenient for you to get everything you need to done, right? And this is now our predictable days with income producing activities. This is the work stuff. This is the stuff we need to do every day. This is the stuff that I tell you to take 15 to 20 minutes every single night to plan for tomorrow. You see, for me, to record this podcast, I knew that I was going to do this. I knew I was going to do this before yesterday. But yesterday, as I'm shutting down my day and I'm reviewing my day to see everything that I got done and I'm enjoying what I accomplished, I'm now able to also plan for tomorrow, let's just say, being today, and I can wake up ready to go. I am determined. I know what I need to get done today. Let's do this. I'm out of the gate running. As I'm planned, how's the person that's not planned, that's competing against me, ever going to win? They can't. I'm gonna beat them right out of there. Same thing goes for you. So what kind of things are we putting in there? Well, I come back to the 7 ways to communicate. Always making sure that every single day you're using all 7. Then you got to think about the admin time. You got to think about the meetings. You got to think about when you're going to have to run around and maybe present offers or go do showings or that phone call that's going to come up. And we want to make sure that we plug in that we've got to meet one new person every single day. You see, that's us having a plan. And now we are organized. We've determined where we track ourselves. We've determined what our realistic time is, all the personal stuff that we want to get done. We've determined the business side of our world. We know we're getting that done. And now it's just a matter of getting it done. So the one extra step that I throw in there for myself is that my day starts off, and, pick any color in your calendar. It could be orange, it could be blue, it could be green, whatever. My day starts off, let's just say, orange. But as I start plugging through my day and I'm in the process of working on something, it becomes blue, so that I know that I'm in the process of that. The minute that gets done, what do? I change it to gray. It is now complete. Check, pat on the back, high five to myself, move on. You see, these are the small, little wins that when we experience them every single day, they're what paint the picture for the big win. But you see, the big win doesn't come every day. So it's important that as we're working hard and we're doing the things that we're doing, we reward ourselves for it. And that's, again, by changing a color from orange to gray. Hey, that's a win right there. That's an accomplishment. I feel good. That's having a plan. And the thing about a plan is this, is that when we have a plan, we manage time better, which means we get more done. Well, when we get more done because we're managing time better, we believe in ourselves more. Now, when we believe in ourselves more and we're feeling better, it's amazing because other people see it just because of your mannerisms and the way you carry yourself and the way you talk and your emotions and how happy you are and how fulfilled you feel. Others see that. They start to believe in our passion. They start to trust us even more. And now that they're trusting us more, what happens next? Well, they start to tell other people. And that's what we call social proof. We now have built enough mindshare because we've had a plan that people believe in us so much that they're now out there talking to other people about us in a good way. What happens there? Those people begin to trust us because there's a third-party referral source. And we know the power of referrals. We know the power of referrals in this business. All of this comes back to having a plan. This gets us more business. So it's one thing to run around like the chaotic realtor or a chaotic salesperson or a chaotic business person. It's one thing to run around like that. Hey, like I said, you're probably getting some stuff done. But when you have a plan, you will get more done. You will feel better. You will win more. The second step here is to manage money. Of course, with time always comes money. Manage time, manage money. Manage money, manage time. I mean, it all goes hand in hand with one another. But it's amazing the amount of people that call me up and they want to spend stupid amounts of money on tools and strategies and gimmicks that they see Sally or Michael down the hall using. Or that they heard from some guy like me on stage going, oh, you got to do this. This is this is going to change your world. Yeah, but did you really think it through? Did you really strategize this whole thing and understand, what am I going to do to support this new marketing tool? Can I afford this new marketing tool? How is this going to fit into my plan? How is it going to fit into my time management? I got a lot to do. If I take this on, I got to figure out, what's really there. And again, can I afford it? How often I'm getting these phone calls. I had a guy call me up and he wanted to spend, essentially, and long story short here, he wants to spend $2,500 a month on social media. So he'd call me because he wanted an opinion, he wanted feedback, he wanted my thoughts. We had a good conversation about it. And as I was asking him about that, and I said to him, okay, so $2,500. He says, yeah. I said, what are they going to do for you? And he says, well, he wasn't really sure. So, that's a lot of money to spend that you're not really sure. And really the way it started off was it was $500 a month. And as I started to dig in what they're doing, how often they're posting, he didn't know a lot of that. And then all of a sudden he dropped it on me. And it's like, well, it's actually $2,000 for the management, $500 for the ad spend. I'm like, whoa. We just went from $500 a month, $6,000 a year, to $2,500 a month, which is almost like $30,000 a year? Think about it. It's crazy. So I said that to him, and I said, you're going to spend $30,000 on social media. Why wouldn't you just push the button? He goes, well, I just don't have time. I said, okay, and here's where I'm going to tie this all together, time and money, right? Now you come back to this and you think you just don't have time. And this could be social. This could be online lead gen. This could be admin work. Think about it. It costs money. It could be 10, 20, 30 G's in a year. It could be more. And you did that to save yourself time? Okay, logic. You're going to go and spend an extra 20 or 30 grand that you didn't spend last year. Maybe you didn't even work it into your plans, but bright shiny object or idea popped up, or I need help, or I'm too complacent or too lazy. Haha. Well, now what happens? Now, as you've taken on this new expense, maybe without proper planning, think about it. You've got to go out and work harder. Not only do you have to make the 20 or 30 G's, I mean, we're talking, you've got to make the gross money, right? You've got to go make 45 so we could pay the tax man and then pay for this new thing. Now, you might go, yeah, man, that's like another 2 deals for me in a year. Maybe. Some of you might be like, that's another 5 or 6 deals for me in a year. Could be more, could be less. But it's more work, period. Bottom line, exclamation mark, bold, underline, you name it. It's more work. And you did it all to save yourself work, to save yourself time. But you've just caused yourself to work harder and spend more time doing it, which means less time for the things we really want in life. See what I'm saying? Again, we've got to analyze. We've got to have that plan of what and why and how. So knowing our plan or our marketing plan and knowing our marketing budget is crucial. In fact, let's go through that for a moment. And we've done this before together, but I want to do this again right now because this is something that people need to be doing every 3 months. So at the tail end of a quarter, as you're about to embark on a new quarter of the year, I want you to go through and review this stuff. This is the MindShare model. Most people are doing the reviews every 12 months. But you, my friend, listening to this MindShare podcast, any of my MindShare Masters in our private community, you are not most people. And we are going to win more. So here's the deal. Your MindShare model, it's like a big letter T on an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Literally, just the big letter T because you got to fill in things on the top and at the sides and within it. So go ahead and draw this big letter T on a piece of paper. And let's walk through how to do a marketing plan and a budget very quickly here. And if you need more feedback, questions, you want to know more, don't hesitate. Reach out to me anywhere, anytime. I am not hard to find online. You got my contact information. Seriously, let me know. But here's how it goes. Up at the top of that line, I want you to put a dollar figure. Okay, just literally a dollar sign. Then on the inside, on the left side, I want you to put group number 1, people you know. And on the right side, I want you to put group number 2, people you don't know. Now I want you to think about, what do you do for marketing? What do you have out there in market now? And let's do a 365-day outlook, right? So from today, the past 365 days, what is in market? So for example, if you are doing those social media ads, analyze, am I talking to people I know or people I don't know? That one is obviously to people you don't know. So write down social media ads on the right-hand side and then attach a dollar figure to it. What does it run you every single month? And if there's management fees included, write them down. If you're doing flyers to a neighborhood, again, to people you don't know necessarily, again, on the right side, what does it cost? If you got newsletters going out to your contact list, again, that's the people you do know, left-hand side, what does it cost? Flyers, billboards, buzz benches, door hangers, client events, websites, you name it, online lead generation. There's so much more that I didn't mention. Figure out which audience you're targeting, and then write it down on the left or the right side and attach a monthly dollar figure to that. Once you've itemized everything you're doing for marketing and you've really labeled it out and analyzed and said, is it group number 1 or group number 2? You're not going to have a list. You're going to have 2 lists. You're going to have one on the left and one on the right. I'm taking a stab at this to say the one on the right is going to be longer than the one on the left. So group number 2 is where you're spending more money, more time, and more effort. And again, those are the people we don't know. But here's a little bit of logic to this whole thing right now. Group number 1 is where we actually see 70 to 90% of our business. So I'm going to argue that we should be spending 70 to 90% of our dollars and our efforts and our time on group number 1. And then there's the natural thought that you have, which you just had, that says, well, how do I meet new people? I mean, I've always got to be out there doing things. Yes, you do. But we've got to make sure that we've got a plan and that we're on budget. So let's go back to the money now. Once you've analyzed what you're doing for these two groups and you've listed it all out, I just want you to add it up. Take the people you know, add it up. Take the people you don't know, add it up. And then take those two numbers and add them up. And that is going to tell you what you are currently spending on your marketing. Now, that doesn't mean you can afford it. That just means that's what you're spending. So, well, how do we figure out how we can afford it? Let's go through that now. Let's figure out the budget part, because we've just looked at the plan and we kind of know, we know what you're currently doing. We haven't made any adjustments. All we've done is labeled it. We've analyzed it. We've written it down. We can visually see it now. Now we can make some determinations. But let's figure out our budget first, because the worst thing you can do is you can, go, well, it depends if it works. Well, no, it doesn't depend if it works. It depends if you can afford it. I mean, a lot of things in life can work, but can you sustain enough? Can you be consistent enough? Can you afford to do all that for the long term to make it work? Or are you thinking like spend it today and reap the benefits tomorrow? I mean, you tell me where the answer to that one is, and I'm in. Doesn't happen that way, does it? So let's go back to the budget here. I want you to think about your needs in life. Do you have a mortgage? Need to pay it. If you got a mortgage, you've got insurance. Need to pay that. Do you have a car? You've got insurance there. Need to pay that. Put gas in it. Need to pay that. Groceries. Need to pay that. Cell phone bills, internet, cable, whatever. Gas, hydro, water. Need to pay that. Think about it. Go through all of those and then write it down. We want to know how much our needs cost us every single month. Once we've done the needs, I want you to do the wants. What do you want in life? I want a, different car. I want to go for lunch. I, want to buy that bag or that pair of shoes. You're allowed to want. We all are. I mean, that's part of why we get up and do what we do every single day, because we want to be able to have the things we want. Doesn't mean we can always afford them, but we want them. So now it's a matter of going, okay, I've added up my needs. I've totaled up my wants. And some of that's going to take some analyzing. And granted, something like, November, December, or even October in some cases might be a lot higher than, say, the month of January, February. But just find an average for your wants. Now that you total those two up and you say, okay, this is how much money at minimum I need to bring in every single month in order to survive. Well, once you've determined that, now I want to know, well, what can you afford to spend on your marketing? Oh, I don't know. Cool. Let's do a little gut check here. We now know how much you got to bring in every month. So now I'm going to ask you, can you do $100 a month on marketing? And if you're sitting there going, yeah, I could do that. Cool. Could you do $200 a month on marketing? And you may be sitting there going, oh, man, I don't know if I could do that. Well, cool. Then 100 might be your number. See, this is all about the gut check. But let's just, for example here, assume that you say 200. Yeah, I could do 200. Cool. Can you do 400? Yeah. Could you do 800? Ooh, that's a lot of money. Okay. Could you do 700? Could you do 600? Yeah, I guess I could do 6. Okay, cool. Your number's 5. Huh? Yeah. Well, you guess you can do 6? No. We're not going to stretch this to a point where you're not comfortable because, I don't know. I mean, let's just say, maybe, and I know it's a stretch, but this thing called like a global pandemic hits, can you afford to stay consistent with your marketing, right? So let's just say you said 500. Now I'm going to do the next part. I'm going to say, okay, at $500 a month, can you do that next month? Yeah. Could you do it the month after? Yeah. Could you do it for the next 12 months in a row? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you've just spent $500 a month, $6,000 for the year. You could do that for the next 12 months. Yep. Okay, cool. And what if you didn't make a penny on that money? Could you afford to still do that? And if you're thinking, man, what do you mean, like not make a penny on that? That would suck. Yeah, I'm with you. But I didn't ask you about like how you felt. I'm asking if you could afford it. You see, if your answer is no, then we've got to go down lower. 500 is not our number. But let's just assume for today's example that you are able to do $500 a month, $6,000 a year. So I want you to take that 500, that 6,000, and write it up at the top of the MindShare model. We now know what our marketing budget is monthly and annually. Now, we're going to go back to the total from group 1 and group 2 and ask ourselves, are we on budget? Are we under budget? Or are we over budget? So what happens if you are over budget? Well, the first thing you're going to do, where you're going to analyze, is you're going to keep in mind that 79% of that biz comes from group number 1. So the first place we're going to look is group number 2. What am I doing there that may be taking me over budget? What am I doing there that may not be as effective as I'd like it to be? That is what we want to look at. That is what we want to pull out. Okay? That's where we're making our revision on our marketing plan. We're always looking at group number 2 first because they only represent 10 to 30%. Now we're making our adjustments. I mean, much in the same breath, if you're looking and you're saying, you know what, I do have some space. Cool. I want you to go back to that new bright shiny idea that you were about to implement. And I want you to ask yourself, can I afford to implement that just money alone? Like, does it fit the budget, yes or no? If the answer is yes, before you implement, I want you to think about what else do I need to do to make that idea work. Let me give you an example. If you're going to do farming, where you're going to send flyers to a neighborhood, then you better be out there door knocking to support those flyers. Otherwise, it's just a piece of paper in my mailbox. If you decide you're going to put up billboards or bus benches or any of that mass advertising, well, again, pick your geographic neighborhood. Know who your target market is. Make sure you're flyering. And then again, make sure you're door knocking. This is what we call support. Otherwise, it's just a billboard. It's just a bus bench. I mean, I'll take that to the social media advertising. When you're spending money on ads or even online, if you're not out there actually connecting with people in a real active way, and I'm talking organic social media, making your phone calls, things that make you a real person, well, then you're just an ad online when I'm scrolling aimlessly. You know what I mean? So it's important that in order to have success, that we know what our budget is, we know what our marketing plan is, and that we don't overspend and cause ourselves to work too hard. Like I said, my goal is to help you work easier, spend less, and make more. And by going through that MindShare model, you will be able to do that. So I want you to, again, schedule it in. Back to the time management. Schedule in to do this 4 times a year in the 3rd week of the 3rd month for each quarter. Again, the 3rd week of the 3rd month for each quarter, because we're now 1 week left till the new quarter starts. We're getting ourselves prepared. We're reviewing what we've done in these past 2 3/4 months, and now we're planning for the next 3 months ahead. Again, how's the competition ever going to keep up? Step 3, communication, or as I like to call it, building that mindshare. Now, in order to build mindshare, there are 3 must-dos that I want to go through today, okay? And as we go through those on this episode, like I said, there are 7 ways to communicate. So if you have not yet downloaded the 7 Ways to Communicate ebook, write this down. Go to my website, mindshare101.com. Right there on the homepage, download your free copy. I want you to use that as a resource. Again, this is going to A, help you build more mindshare, and B, help you label out what you need to be doing every single day in your schedule. Because as you're building mindshare, you're building relationships, you're creating opportunities, and well, what you do today creates the opportunity for tomorrow. So again, the 7 Ways to Communicate ebook, go to mindshare101.com. I want to say right now, but I might say, if you can multitask, do it. But if you're driving and you listen to this podcast, don't do that. Just keep listening to the podcast and do it after. Now, in that same breath, I mentioned about kits earlier on when I talked about my CRM. And I just want to briefly touch on that because I haven't really introduced kits that often on this podcast. Although, again, I always talk about how they are our sponsor and we're incredibly grateful for that. I just want to mention briefly, Kits Keep in Touch Systems is exactly that. It's a keep in touch system. It is cross-channel marketing for realtors. So you know how I just explained about the support mechanisms? Like if you're doing this, you got to do that, and you got to sort of support it all. Well, what Kits offers is the full CRM package. And I mean, look, there's a bajillion CRMs out there. Your company might be giving you a free CRM. There's, so many different options. The beauty of Loop CRM by Kits is that it's attached to marketing. It's got an entire marketing center attached to it. And when I mean marketing center, I don't mean, you get to upload your photo and you got to write it and you got to design and then you got to save it and go print it or send it or no. Kits does it all for you. Literally. And so, combined in this marketing center, there's actually 5 different print products. And I know when I said print, you just kind of like winced. I'm like, huh? Print? People still use that? Yeah. No, listen. Print is still a bright, shiny object to the millennials. Keep that in mind. In fact, 76% of millennials across North America trust print more than they do social or digital advertising. Because, again, they don't get it that often. Much the same, we know that print will increase your brand awareness by 70%. So, again, if you're doing digital ads and you're doing the calls and you're doing all the other stuff, when you send print, you've just made yourself real. It's tangible. Think about this as well, is that when I get your email, when I get your social, when I get your phone call, when I see your website, text message, I could be anywhere. It's all coming through my phone. But the beauty of print, when you send that to somebody, they're at their house. And yeah, they might walk it over to the blue bin, but guess what? They just saw it. They didn't just see it. They touched it. They felt it. You touch more senses. You're digging deeper into the inner workings of our brain, and we got 3 levels of our brain. You're going right down into the reptilian brain, the instinctive brain, the one that makes the decisions. And you're building MindShare. Because now that I'm at my mailbox, I'm obviously at my house, I'm seeing you, I'm seeing my house, I'm making the mental, subliminal, let's call it, subconscious connection. Again, how you build more MindShare. So, talk about direct mail newsletters going out 10 times a year, the most effective direct mail money can buy. We use variable data publishing, which means that everything is highly personalized. If you remember the Coca-Cola bottle or the Coca-Cola can that they wrote people's names in, or the Nutella jars that have had people's names, and we've seen different companies do this before. Kits is the master at this. You figure if you had 100 people on a contact list, it could be 500 people, 1,000 people, whatever. Kits is literally writing a unique letter for each unique person. You're branding throughout the entire piece, but everything within it is geared to that individual client. So right down to the pictures, the way the content is written, the language, the salutation. Are they friends? Are they family? Are they potential clients? Past clients? What are we asking them for? What's the call to action? What kind of home do they live in? What's important to them? Are they owners? Are they renters? We're only putting relevant content in that letter to ensure that when people get it, they see total value, that it puts you in the right light, that they think about you first and they want to refer you first. Literally, it is direct mail on steroids. And when you think about any other direct mail program, especially if you're using one, by not having variable data, or let's put it a different way, by having variable data, your direct mail becomes 25 times more effective. And did I mention that there's nobody else in the industry that's doing direct mail, variable data direct mail? You got to check out Kits. Geo-farming flyers, drip campaigns, thank you cards, the most amazing calendars money can buy. 365 days of wow factor, guaranteed more phone calls than you get on your birthday. And taking all of that and combining it, as I talk about this support mechanism, combining it with 8 different e-products. Everything from a mobile site to a mass email engine, so you don't need a third party, these other systems where you store a contact list over there and you store your emails over there, but then your CRM's over here. Everything can be in one place. Branded to you, compliant with all the regulations. In fact, content is written for you, designed for you. You can mix and match stuff if you want to. You can send out your own blast whenever you want to. But this thing goes out for you every single month consistently. And we know consistency is the magic ingredient to achieving everything we want. Social media content, geo search, which is absolutely amazing, action plans, online guest registry for open houses, websites, lead capture. It is fully loaded. And there's some amazing offers going on right now. So if you're interested in a demo and just want to learn more about Kits, no strings attached. In fact, message me. I'll get that set up for us, okay? Now let's go back to these 3 must-dos. Because in order to be out there every single day, you've got to do, be out there every day and have success and build that MindShare, we need to connect with people. So there's 3 things I want you to focus on a regular basis in today's world, okay? And again, I can't get into everything today, but I want to focus in on these 3 for a moment because they are crucial, and a lot of people don't do enough of them. The first one is calling people. Yeah, I said it. Call people. Dave, that's your big thing? Yeah. Are you calling people? Are you making your phone calls? In fact, I hope you're sitting there nodding, yes, Dave, I am. Good. But if you're one of those people that know what I'm talking about and you're thinking to yourself, oh, man, I need to make more phone calls. Well, cool. that I want to push you to do that. So what do I say? How about say hi? How about just call people and have a genuine conversation? You don't need to call to sell them. You don't need to tell them about the market. Let your marketing do that. Again, the 7 ways to communicate. Let your passive touch points deliver the business message, while you stay active with a relationship, just delivering the, hey, how you doing message, the personal message. So go through your list. Start from the top and just start calling people. Pick 5 to 10 people a day from your contact list. Call them. Then think about what we talked about, time management. Track the notes of what you talked about. Ensure these people are all on your 10-year plan and they're receiving your other marketing materials, right? Again, supporting one another. And then schedule again to call them in, say, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I mean, Loop CRM actually includes like a whole call reminder feature that you can set it up and it just auto-reminds you when to call people. But you got to make the phone calls. This is the real deal connection. This is where you learn things. This is where it's just you and me. We get to talk to each other. It's not a social ad. It's not a mass ad. It's not something that everybody sees. This is just one-on-one. So make your calls. And when you're making your calls, if you're thinking, well, what do I say? And I said, say hi. Remember Ford. Ask them about their family. Ask them about their occupation. Ask them about their recreation. Ask them about their dreams. FORD. Family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Ask them about that stuff. Dig for it. Your conversation may only be about family, but always make it about them. And when they come back and they go, well, how's business for you? Oh, it's great. The market is pumping. I am so busy out there. But tell me, what are you guys planning to do this summer? Turn it right back around about them. See, when you make it about them and you're genuine and you truly care, they like the fact that you're interested in what they're doing. You're building relationship. You're learning. Take your notes. Schedule ahead. The second one is social media. Okay. And I know there's some people that are total social media rock stars that are on there every single day that know exactly how these platforms work. But I also know many others that, well, they just don't do it properly, or they're very concerned about how they do it. And should they do, shouldn't they do, what do they do? And here's how simple it is, because it's not about spending money. This just comes back to being engaged with people. That's what social media is all about. It is a social media, not a business media. So here's 5 real simple things to do with your social media strategy, okay? Every single day. And all you need is, again, 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, maybe twice, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. But do not get stuck scrolling aimlessly and stalking people, right? When you're there, be active, have purpose, have a reason, get it done and get out so we can keep moving with our time. So here's the 5 things. 1, like and react to posts as you scroll. When you're scrolling, don't just scroll. Actually get engaged. The second one is to comment on posts. So don't just hit like. If you're really brave, hit love, hit wow, hit care, whatever. If you're even braver, say something. Hey, that was cool. Oh, wow. What a picture. I love dogs. Whatever. Ask a question. You see, I make a joke about being brave on that stuff. It is too easy. Don't make it so hard. The third thing is share other people's posts. So again, share their posts. But if you're going to share, don't just share. Tell me why you're sharing. Because if I see you post something and it's just random, I'm probably not paying attention. But if you say to me, and it may not be directly to me, but if you say, here's this, and that, this is my opinion, check this out, what this guy had to say or whatever. Now you give me a reason why you posted it. You tell me why it's important, and you tell me what to do. The fourth one is post your own content. Again, don't be shy. This could be the sunset. This could be the picture of your dog. Just don't make it all about business, please. That's just boring. And 5, send out friend requests. Don't be a secret agent. Don't be too cool for school. You know what I mean? Get involved with people. Get engaged. That is what social media is all about. And speaking of social, take advantage of stories. Instagram and Facebook both have them available to you. If you really want to up your social game, it is not about spending money on ads. It is not about hiring somebody. Nobody can put your spin on anything. And in fact, when I see it, if I know you, I'm going to be able to tell whether it is you or not. Again, stay involved. The 5 things I just listed off, they're too easy. Then when it comes to stories, all you have to do is start storing stuff. It is so much fun. It will make you even more comfortable with your social strategy. And right now is a good opportunity, too. If you're listening, as you're listening to this podcast, take a screenshot, of the podcast itself. Put it up in your story. And while you do that, tag me, because now I'm going to be able to see that you did that. And again, very, very grateful. Your audience is going to see more about the podcast, and you're helping me build MindShare. Thank you. But now, as you tag me, I'm going to repost that, and I'm going to tag you. And now we're helping each other build more MindShare. So it's a really powerful way to go about it. I encourage you to do that. Do it now. Again, make sure you tag me on Insta, David Greenspan 101, and on Facebook, MindShare 101. The third must-do is video. And as I started off today's episode, we're talking about the MindShare 101 videos, which again, I encourage you to tune into. Remember this. If you're one of these people that think, I want to do more video, or I really don't like video, I don't want to be on camera, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, I'm not comfortable. Hey, I was there, and millions of others are still there. So you're not alone. But I want you to know this. You look and sound the same on camera as you do in the mirror. Yep, you heard it. That's right. So when you're looking in the mirror, that's you. When you look on camera, that's you. When you're in person with people, that's you. So don't be shy. It is the same you. So here's a few tips, and I want to help you with a few things right now, okay? When it comes to actually doing video. Some tips. Always have the sunlight or the light in front of you. Don't have a window behind you. Don't be lit from behind and dark in the front, because then you're just going to be a silhouette on camera. I can't really see you. We're not making a connection. There is no eye contact. So again, always be lit in front of you. Check your background. With a lot of these Zooms going on, a lot of the stuff we're doing at home right now, if you happen to be in your bedroom, watch for dirty laundry. If you happen to be in the kitchen, watch for dirty dishes. If you happen to be outside on the road, watch for your competitors' signs, right? You know what I mean? Too much noise. So if I sit here and I make noises right now and I'm banging on my desk, or I'm blowing in your speakers and I know you just went, oh man, that was a lot, right? Or you hear the jingle and jangle, right, when it comes to being in a restaurant. Too much noise is too much noise. So pay attention to the noise when you're doing video. Look at the lens. This goes for selfies and this goes for video. Everybody's so concerned about what they look like. They're always looking at the screen. And I've seen some of the, some pros that are still looking at the screen. I cannot understand it. Look at the lens. Find that tiny little lens on your camera. And before you hit record or before you hit snapping a picture, look at the lens. Much to say, if you're going to do some of these virtual stuff, you're going to use Zoom or Facebook Live or whatever, look at the lens. Because now we're making eye contact. Now I feel like you're actually looking at me and like I'm looking back at you. But if you're always looking at the screen, and you guys have seen this before, it looks like you're looking at yourself. But, I mean, whatever you're looking at, you're not looking at me. Again, there's no eye contact. And eye contact is a very important piece of communication. It creates connection. And then finally, your hands. Anybody who starts video is pretty, uncomfortable to begin with. Usually, I don't know how to stand. I don't know how to sit. I don't know what to do with my hands. Be natural. If you're somebody who talks with your hands, like me, then talk with your hands. If look, don't have them glued to the desk. Don't have them glued to your side. And don't become the politician with these crazy hand gestures if that's not who you are. Just be you. The best thing you can possibly do on video is just be you. This is not Hollywood. So again, those 3 must-dos was call people. Leverage your social media. It's like steroids to a workout. Not that I'm advocating steroids, but social media for any small business and any salesperson will help you grow more. Don't make it the be-all and end-all, but use it. And leverage video. Get involved with it. It is 2020, and as bad as we all want to see 2020 get out of here already, that's where we're at. Video is a massive part of our world. Those 3 must-dos will help you build more MindShare. Then when you go to mindshare101.com, and if you have not yet, the 7 Ways to Communicate ebook, download it. Okay, I want you to incorporate all 7 ways to communicate into your daily routine. You will then always be out there building more MindShare. If you want to learn about how kits can help you, get in touch with me. Let me know. You can get in touch with kits directly. You just literally go to kitspack.com. In fact, go to mindshare101.com, my website. Click on the marketing up at the top. Click on contact us. One of our awesome team members will get in touch with you. If you want to message me directly, I will make the connection for us. But seriously, if you just want to learn more about it, which I encourage you to do, this is a powerful system. We're very aware of the different offerings from the different brands. We're very aware of the different CRMs and the different marketing tools out there. We have built this to be robust. It has been in market for 15 years, and it has never stopped growing and building on more and more tools to help you win more. So you can get in touch for your free demo. We'll set that up. You can ask all the questions you want. You can compare it to whatever you want. We'll give you price breakdowns, give you the grand tour. And then our MindShare Masters Community, which I talk a lot about. If you are not yet part of that, you need to be part of it. Think about it. This is real estate coaching, small business coaching, for literally $19 a month. Break that down, do the math. That is 62 cents a day. I mean, come on. How could you afford not to? Think about all the value packed into this. Daily marketing and sales strategies. I'm talking every single day when you tune into the group, all you will see is marketing and sales strategy, something that is actionable, something you can put into place for you right away. There is no bitching and complaining. There's no popularity contest. There is no posturing. There is no, anything spam. It is pure daily strategy. This is sure to help you go next level. And on top of the daily content, the daily strategies, 6 times a month we get together for events. Every single week, our MindShare Masters have access to this podcast when I have my special guests, and they get to join us in a VIP room for a private Q&A once we get off air. So the part that you can't hear once we're done with the episode, when I have a guest, we then open up the VIP room and we take time to have a private Q&A with our special guest. So all of our masters get to ask their own individual personalized questions and get their own individual personalized feedback. It is powerful. That happens every week. Then twice a month, every other week, we're doing what we call a live MindShare, where we actually get together, everybody, and this is a collaboration of minds. This is where you control the show. You for sure have issues you're dealing with, challenges, ideas, thoughts, opinions. So do others. And so we take timely events, timely things that are going on, timely challenges in the market, and we analyze those, and we talk about them more. And we help everybody come away going, got it, I know where to go next, let's move on. This is a big team of people, all in the same mindset, all looking to achieve just like you, having the same challenges as you. So I want to invite you to join us. And again, with that, you go to mindshare101.com, you click on coaching, and you click on group coaching, and you can literally get in for only $19 a month. In fact, if you want, you can do it for the annual membership. It's only $199, and that brings your daily cost down to 54 cents. 54 cents. I mean, 54 or 62, big deal. Think about that. You can't buy anything in life for that anymore. Except here you go, having all this additional resource for your business. So I encourage you, mindshare101.com, coaching, group coaching. Join us and do it right now. Like I said, my goal is to help you work easier, spend less, and make more. And we put our effort into that every single day to help you do better. Your goal, plain and simple. Get out there and build relationships. Look, I get it. You get up every single day wanting a deal. We all do. But it's the stuff that we do on a day that helps us get that deal. Remember, the act of doing creates the result of having. So what we cover off? Step 1, manage time. Step 2, manage money. Step 3, build that mind share, because mind share equals market share. You're either listening to this on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google, Stitcher, or Spotify. Or maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Maybe you downloaded our free Industry Syndicate podcast app. And by the way, while you're on the site, if I didn't say it already, download your free copy of the 7 Ways to Communicate ebook to help you build more mind share so that you can get more market share. Wherever you like to consume your content, please rate, review, and subscribe. And if you haven't yet, Connect with me on Facebook at MindShare 101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. This has been another episode of the MindShare Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.